Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the TGIF Business Networking Hangout. I'm your host, Melanie MacDonald, Brand Identity and Outreach Strategy Consultant. Today, we've got a really fun show for you. It's going to be fun, especially for me. Woohoo! We are talking about doing real business in virtual worlds. And this topic is something I've been wanting to do for a while. Had a little bit of a hard time chasing down some people who would be willing to come in and show their real faces on camera, because we play in a world called Second Life, which is a virtual world, and we go in there and we have avatars or little like cartoon people representations of us. And people in virtual worlds are often very private and very sort of careful about sharing who their virtual identity is and with their real identity. It's kind of interesting. It's an interesting place to be and experience. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We'll talk about that a little bit today too. But I scored. I got very lucky. I got two beautiful ladies to come in who are business owners in Second Life. Excuse me. And they are joining us today. First up, we have Inger Freeman. She is owner of Ankle Biters. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. That is a store for Petites. Petites are little tiny avatars. They're pixie size. So Inger, please introduce yourself, and then after Inger's done, we're going to be joined by Sherry Brown, who is owner of an art gallery, the Lost Unicorn Art Gallery in Sim. So let's start with Inger. Please, Inger, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us, what got you interested in playing Second Life to begin with? How did you get started in there?
A friend of mine introduced me a few years back and made an avatar and an account for me and gave it to me as a present. And I came in this magical world and everything was so beautiful that I was totally flabbergasted. And after playing a while with that avatar, I made a special avatar just for building, because I was so fascinated with the prims and how they work and the textures. And I started playing with prims and textures and ended up with a shop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now I make little outfits for pixie-sized avatars.
So you have a shop and you sell clothing that you design yourself for people's avatars, their little ones.
Yeah.
Okay. And she mentioned something called prims and textures. I'm just going to explain what that is before we go on to Sherry. Prims are the basic building blocks. In Second Life, it's a little bit different than some other worlds that gamers might be used to, like World of Warcraft, where you go into the world and everything is already there. It was created by the maker of the game, and you have a character, you go in there, and you go in there for a specific reason, to do a quest or, you know, go off on an adventure. But with Second Life, there's nothing that's already there made for you. Everything in Second Life is created by the people who play in Second Life. Now, not everybody who plays in Second Life is a builder or a creator, but there are a lot of very creative types who go into Second Life. And so all the buildings that are in there, all the neat stuff for your avvie, the clothes, the weapons, the outfits, the accessories, all the landscapes and the trees and the plants, everything that's in there was built by someone who is a player in Second Life. And the basic building blocks are called prims. And so a prim might be a sphere, it might be a cube, it might be a flat plane, like a rectangle, and people take these things, a cylinder, and they put the shapes together to make new items like furniture and trees and outfits. So that's the basic. It gets a little more advanced because there's things called sculpties and mesh now, where I don't really know what it is, but mesh uses wireframes. It's all 3D stuff, and you can apply textures to it. So it's not just, you know, a square or a circle, but it could be a curvy shape, could be an avatar. And it could be a dress, could be clothing. So I'm not one of those creators. I like to just go in and play. So I can't talk too much about that. Inger will tell us a little bit more about that, and possibly Sherry too. Sherry says Natalie on her screen, but Natalie is her character's name in Second Life, and Sherry is her real name in First Life. And on her name tag down at the bottom there, you see a picture of her avatar, and that is Natalie, a beautiful elf. But now we're going to speak to Sherry, the beautiful woman, owner of Lost Unicorn Gallery and Sim in Second Life. Hi, Sherry. Please introduce yourself and tell us what got you interested in Second Life.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sherry. I just heard a lot about it. I remember originally I was playing The Sims Online, if anybody remembers that game, and all my friends were moving to Second Life. I thought, well, I've got to try out this game. So when I first started it, I thought, oh, this is too difficult to move around, maneuver, and I didn't play for a long time. And then I came back. I had like a dance club for a while. I tried different things. I normally just would buy homes and then decorate them. I just went in just for the social aspect, you know, talking to other people, and then I finally found my niche, which was taking pictures, enjoying beautiful forests. Now, I've always loved the fantasy realm. I've always loved fairies, elves, unicorns since I was very little. So anything to do with that was great. And when I saw these forests in Second Life that were built, they were amazing. I mean, they had all these magical qualities. They were just beautiful, and I wanted to do something like that. So I started I purchased a sim and made a fantasy forest called Enchanted of Elven Realm, and I had that for about 3 years. I had a small gallery there because I started enjoying taking pictures in the fantasy realm, and enjoying Flickr, and started seeing all the amazing pictures that people were taking, you know, that had to do with that. So I just loved it so much, and I wanted to display it somehow or let others enjoy it that maybe didn't have an account, or just, you know, just to have a way of showing them, and even in a different way. So I had a small gallery on the sim, and then I ended up having to close that sim, and then probably about a year later, I reopened the Lost Unicorn Gallery, which is much larger. I mean, it's a very large, like, castle overlooking a forest, small forest. I'm hoping someday to have a full sim. Right now it's just half a sim, but I'm hoping someday to have a full sim again with the forest and the gallery. But yeah, we house about over 40 artists, and at any one time, and then we have showcases and all kinds of events. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, anything to do with fantasy I love. I had to, you know, do something with that.
And for the benefit of our viewers out there who may be listening or watching, I'm going to explain what a sim is. A sim is the landmass inside the virtual realm, Second Life. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. I'm sharing my screen. And what you're seeing here is the Lost Unicorn sim and gallery. So think of a sim as like a virtual island or continent. And this is, as Natalie said, half a sim. Over here on the right side are some mountains, and on the other side of the mountains is another piece of land as big as this one, and that makes up the full sim. So this is the gallery castle, and it's got water underneath, and it's got this nice pathway that goes down. There's some unicorns here. And people who are in Second Life, Natalie mentioned photography. Second Life photography is huge. There are thriving communities over on Flickr, which is a photo sharing site, of people who are Second Life photographers who enjoy a creative outlet of going into Second Life and taking photos and then posting them to Flickr. I'm one of those people. That's what I spend about 90% of my time doing in Second Life. Maybe it's more like 60%, and the other 40% is making new outfits for my avatar. And so this is what a sim is, and this is what the gallery looks like. Now, I also want to mention that these two ladies joining us today are kind of after my own heart, because that both of them mentioned that they play fantasy characters. One's a little pixie and the other one's an elf, and my character is a fairy. So this is how I came in contact with them. I had come across the Lost Unicorn Gallery and I loved it and took some pictures there. And actually, ankle biters, because I don't have a petite avatar, I have a normal size one, but it was referred to me by someone else who is a creator of Bassa Vella, his name is, and he's a creator of satyr avvies, ones with like horse hoof legs, goat legs, different kinds of furry hooved legs, and I bought some furry hooved legs from him and asked him to come on, but he couldn't come at this time, and he referred Inger to me. So Inger, let's go back to you. Actually, before I ask you something, Inger, one more thing. If anybody out there wants to join us or has a question, please put your question in the comments in the event page. There is a link to join in the Hangout in the event page. Just look at the comments there and you can find the link to join in. We love having guests. If you've got questions, if you like to play in virtual worlds, if you want to join the discussion, this is a networking Hangout, and everybody is welcome to join in, and we are newbie friendly too. Okay, thanks. Now back to Inger. Inger, I'm going to show on my screen a picture of an ankle biter, and then you can tell us a little bit about what that is. Let's see. Well, there's your store. Here we go. This is what I wanted to look at.
This is a picture of an avatar made by Alia Baroque, a petite male avatar, and you can see the lady beside is a normal sized avatar, and the little guy is a petite. So that's actually the size of the
little ones. And here's another picture. They can sit on your shoulder.
There's a little fae on the shoulder of the wizard, and yeah, they are totally adorable. And when I saw them the first time, I was totally hooked, and yeah, I became a petite and never ever used my big avatar again.
Now, what are some of the fun aspects of being a petite avatar? What's the appeal? Because when these petites came out, they kind of caught on very quickly and became very popular in those fantasy forests where we hang out. We see a lot of those. So what are some of the things that are appealing about being a petite?
Yeah, I love pixies very much because they're cute, they are adorable, but they're also pesty, and they play pranks, and they're a little bit mischievous too. So all those aspects I like very much about the pixies, and those petites are beautifully shaped, and you can buy such pretty skins with the avatar. You have many sorts, like elves and royals and ice elves and little tree-like petites. Yes, and that's so appealing. And when I saw them, I wanted to make little outfits, and I started to, some time ago, making outfits, and I just love to do it because you can put all your fantasies in it, and make little dream outfits.
So there's a picture of the inside of your store and some of those outfits that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you actually create these outfits. You design them, and
yes,
what's your inspiration for these?
Oh, it depends on the season and on the mood I'm in. But this is a little sea sprite, you see, and on the fantasy fair there was a limited edition avatar only on the fantasy fair, and it was called Sea Sprite, and it was so beautiful that I got one and started to design a little Sea Sprite outfit. And so it depends very much on the avatar that you use. and there are many petite avatars made by fallen gods, and yeah, you can make everything you like. Depending on, you can make them green, the little petites, or they have a skin hut, so you can do whatever you like with them and whatever mood you are in.
So, and I'm just going to explain for the people out there who aren't familiar with playing in virtual worlds. An avatar is the little person that you have, and in this picture you see a regular size avatar and a petite avatar. So we call them avvies for short. And skins, everything on your avvie is something that you buy for your avvie. So there are different skins that you can put on, like like the pink skin that this little pixie avvie is wearing, and the pale skin that the wizard avvie is wearing. And as you see in the store picture, here's a blue skin. So you can have different skins that are different colors, which are great for fantasy characters. This is the inside of Inger's shop. So if you go in the shop, your avatar can actually walk around, look on the stores. And these stores in Second Life are big business. There are lots and lots of clothing designers, furniture sellers, texture sellers, people who create textures that then they sell to designers who can apply those textures to the outfits and the buildings and their furniture, whatever it is they're creating. You can see an example here of this outfit. That's this white outfit above the blue one. There's like a flowered sort of texture in her fabric here. It's very pretty. So Inger, where do you get your textures? And you mentioned Fallen Gods. Fallen Gods is another creator. It's another store, another brand name, and they make avatars and skins.
Yes. And I always use their avatars because I like them very much. But the textures, sometimes I make the textures myself in Photoshop, and sometimes I go to another store in Second Life called Texture Me True, and this Gerald makes the most jaw-dropping textures you have seen. They're so beautiful. So he's my texture guru, and I buy textures of him and use them in my designs.
Okay. And this is your storefront. Now, you did not build the building yourself, correct? You bought it from...
No, I didn't. I wish I did because I like it so much, but I lack the skills to build such a building.
Okay. So this is a building that Inger purchased from somebody else, and then she put it up and then put up all her stuff inside the building, right?
Yes.
You decorated the inside, you set the store up, you made it look the way it looks. Okay?
Yes.
All right, and Sherry, let's go back to you. I'm going to show your stuff now. Okay. And did you build this sim yourself, Sherry? What did you have to do to have this created? Did you have this vision of you knew what you wanted it to look like, you knew you wanted the water, you knew you wanted the castle? How did that come into being?
Yeah, I had a lot to do with the vision. I knew what I wanted as far as a fantasy forest and what I wanted included in that. I had someone by the name of Jennifer Carlucci. She's the one that actually did the sim, you know, the terrain and the water, and I just added the objects and decorated it and all that, but she did the terrain and the building it up so that it overlooks the forest. And then Satra Road is the name of the avatar that created the building, the castle. Okay. It's called Rivendell, and and I thought they did. And Jennifer, when she did the terrain, she can also build too. She's amazing. Both of them are. But Jennifer built up the platform underneath the castle. Because it's normally just to the bottom where the doors are.
Oh,
and
cool.
Built up the platform and made the water underneath and the little dungeon area and all that.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, she's amazing. But I'd love for her to build a full sim for me.
So when you buy a sim, when we say buy a sim, you don't actually own it. You're paying rent. basically on it. Is that correct? A monthly rent?
That's correct, yeah.
And it comes as sort of a piece of flat land, and you had the castle that you bought, and you said, here's the castle, build me something pretty. And she put the mountains in, and the pathways, and the water, and all that good stuff, right? Is that how it
Right.
worked?
Yeah, we wanted it to look, the main criteria was to look magical, fantasy, I wanted everything to go together. You know, like the gallery, since it was a fantasy gallery, I wanted the sim to be fantasy, so I wanted everything to mesh together, and that's what I'd like to do eventually with a full sim. So
Awesome. And we have, hi Roxanne, I want to say hi to Roxanne Davenport. She's watching and she's saying, ooh, beautiful and interesting. So come on in if you want, Roxanne. The link is in the comments in the event page. And we had Brian join us, but we'll let him introduce himself in a little while. Okay, so the next picture I have here is inside the gallery. So you actually do art shows. And is that Rainbow Mubble's work I see there?
yes, yes,
She's
it is.
awesome.
She is awesome.
I love her.
I know.
Okay, so you, and this is what attracted me. That's actually one of my avatar there who's coming and looking at the beautiful artworks for the show that was on at that time. So you do different shows and you put up the works of different artists. We can see a couple of the artists' info kiosks here, and if somebody clicks on that kiosk, they get a note card with information about the artist, correct?
That's correct. It's like a link to their Flickr page, and also if they want to add any other links, they can do that. And then also like a mini biography on some of them. A lot of them haven't sent them in, but the ones that have them, we've added that also.
Now, I've got to ask this question because I know everybody watching wants to know. Is there real money involved? So in the case of these artists, before we get to you, Sherry, are these artworks for sale inside your gallery or just for display like a museum?
Right now, they're just for display. I did give them the option to sell their artwork, but they didn't really want to. So, and I was fine with that, and I mainly just wanted it to be able to display the work. Now they have sold their work, like Fantasy Fair, when we were involved in that. We did that for Relay for Life. So we did do that for a cause.
So the Fantasy Fair is, just so everybody knows, it's an annual event. It is all of our favorite event. Yes. I'd say probably every year. I know we all live for the Fantasy Fair. And basically, they buy a bunch of Sims, and they make these fabulous builds on the Sims. The Sims are sponsored by one of the bigger designers and store owners, and they build a whole neat Sim to go around that is a beautiful build, but is also full of shops. And so the merchants all rent a booth or a shop there. They set up their shops. Lost Unicorn sets up a gallery. And this event draws so many people. So it's a really good promotional tool and marketing tool for all the shop owners in Second Life, especially if they are fantasy oriented. This one is a fantasy fair, but there are fairs for a variety of different styles throughout the year. There's a hair fair that's really great. It's just all about different hairs. There's a science fiction con every year. There is a Renaissance hunt every year. There's medieval ones, and you know, it's a world that you can be and do anything that you really want to do. So there are all different types of fairs, and Relay for Life is usually the main benefactor from these fairs. It's somebody at Relay for Life did a really good job of going into Second Life and promoting their cause to all the different merchants, because every fair I go to has Relay for Life kiosks, and they literally raise hundreds of thousands of dollars that go to Relay for Life.
Yeah.
Okay, so your artists, and this is kind of interesting because most of them are just doing it out of love. They just like to be creative and like to do this artwork, and they have regular jobs outside of what they do in Second Life, and that's true for you too, isn't it, Sherry? As owner of Lost Unicorn, this is a labor of love for you?
Yeah, I just enjoy it. That's the main reason I do it, and I think that's a lot of the reason why they didn't really care whether they sold it or not. They just enjoy it so much. You know, they just like to do the work, and I like to give them, you know, the recognition or the, what do you call it?
The props.
Yes.
The exposure.
Exposure. That's the word I was looking for. So, especially new artists, ones that you know, aren't real as popular as some of the others yet, or just new starting out taking pictures in Second Life, things like that.
Okay.
So.
And let's go. Oops. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Where's the picture I'm looking for? Oh, I don't have it up. I gotta find it. I want to put a picture up of the entryway to your place as soon as I can. Here it is. Okay, so here's the entryway to the Lost Unicorn Gallery. It's the entryway on that castle there, and you can see that that Sherry has some really nice welcome signs, of little featured paintings by some of the artists who are on display currently inside. And this one I particularly wanted to bring up because you have a sign congratulating contest winners. You recently held a photo contest for the Little Mermaid themed photos. Tell us about that, and why did you hold the contest? What was the purpose of that, and how many entries did you get?
Well, we ended up with about 84 entries, so it was really, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that we had collaborated with Enchantment. Duchess, who is one of the artists in the gallery, had wanted us to be involved in Enchantment, which she owns now. So she asked the gallery to be a part of it and to display pictures. So we had like a little area on the sim in Nymphi to display the pictures, and then she wanted me to kind of organize a contest. So
what is Enchantment?
Enchantment, I'm sorry, that was the event that they had recently. They're going to start having it it's going to be like every 3 months. A new fairy tale is going to be concentrated on. They're going to do have shop owners vendors come in and sell items and objects they make, especially for the event.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they just had one for the Little Mermaid, and then they're going to have another one in another 3 months.
Okay, and so to coordinate with the event and help promote the event, you host a photo contest that is in the same theme as the shopping event. And these shopping events are something that have popped up over the last couple of years in Second Life that have become a really, really good marketing tool. And, you know, really it translates into the same way that real life businesses might have shopping events. For example, if there was a mall that was popular with shoppers in the mall, at Christmas time, the shop owners all give out candy. They have Santa Claus come in. This attracts people with their kids to take them around and get their Christmas gifts. They do it at Halloween. It attracts the families to come in and take their kids around and go trick-or-treating, which brings foot traffic into the stores. And it's the same in these virtual businesses. So they do these shopping events, and they also do something called hunts. And a hunt is like a scavenger hunt where there is an item at the beginning of the hunt. There's a sign and it says, look for this item. It's hidden somewhere in the participating stores. And then when you find that item in the store, you click on it and it gives you a prize. So I'm going to go back to Inger now, because Inger, you participate in hunts, right? Sometimes. And that's one of the ways that you promote your stuff and your ankle biters. Is that correct?
Yes.
You offer up an outfit for the hunt as a prize?
Yeah, true.
Okay.
I did a Mad Pea hunt, and every year on the fantasy fair there is also a sort treasure hunt, and I design a special outfit for that hunt, and you can win it if you find if you have a hut and your hut is full and you have done all the quests you get finally the big prize.
And I'm a big fan of hunts. That's one of the things that I, as a shopper and a bargain shopper, like to do. Well, plus it's just fun. I mean, I got turned on to the hunts actually through the fantasy fair, which I went to anyway. And, you know, no matter how much of a bargain shopper you do, when you go to these hunts, they are effective. I know this because every time I do a hunt, I end up buying other stuff in the stores where these prizes are. I went and I got a fun little prize from some store recently, and I ended up buying a treehouse gazebo, a big tree with a gazebo in it for my house, for my home. So it's a great marketing tool, and you've seen this in real life sometimes when they have things like called the I think there's one over by the beach areas here in Southern California, and I think I've seen my cousin posting about one in Baltimore when they do drunk walks, and it's a pub crawl, basically. They call them a pub crawl or a drunk walk, and if there's like a popular walking shops area, like a street with a lot of shops and restaurants, you know, an area where people go shopping and go out to eat, then a lot of the participating restaurants and pubs will have a drink special that day as part of the pub crawl or the drunk walk, and then it encourages people to go from pub to pub to drink a drink in each of the things. By the end, they're trashed, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a great event because it makes for a lot of people going out having fun. They're walking, so they're not driving. They're, you know, very much saying it's a walk, it's a crawl, and of course you get the best posts on the social media sites. You get drunk posts, right? You get people posting pictures of themselves getting drunk at your bar. So it's a great promotional tool. Okay. And Inger, you also have a group, right?
Yes, I have an ankle biter group, and it's a special members group. And every season, 4 times a year, you get a gift, and it's a full outfit specially made, and it's only a members exclusive. So it's not for sale, and it's only for a very short time in my shop, especially for the members.
So a group is when you go into the store and there'll be a sign that says group joiner. You join the group, and what that means is they can send you a message through the message system, and they send you notices, and they'll say, you know, we have a sale going on right now, and sometimes they'll send you a free gift for members only, and that free gift encourages people to join the group because they get all this great stuff. Yeah. And we're going to do introductions. So it's another great marketing tool for store owners and vendors in Second Life to reach their audiences and potential buyers. And Sherry, you have a group as well, don't you, for the Lost Unicorn Gallery?
Yeah, and it's the main purpose is to make sure that we're able to let them know about events and contests and things like that that are coming up. You know, like we have a showcase usually every month. I try to do it at least every month or month and a half, have a showcase of 2 artists, you know, in the front of the gallery, and so we advertise and have an entertainer come and play and all kinds of things, and I want to make sure I have a way of letting everybody know about that. So.
Okay. All right, I'm going to come back on cam. Hi again, everybody. Well, we are already halfway through the hour. It goes so fast. And I was telling my 2 beautiful, nervous guests this morning, don't worry, it's going to go faster than you think, and it'll be easier than you think. We've had a couple of other people join us since we started, so this is a good time to let them do their introductions. Brian, when you're ready, come on cam. We'll start with Carl. Hi, Carl. Thanks for coming in. Nice to meet you.
Hey, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and tell us about your project that you and I have been talking about.
Yes, yeah, my name's Carl, and I'm a website developer from England. I live in Sweden at the moment, and apart from my day job, I like to work on just sort of anything that takes my interest really. And at the moment, you'd probably say that Twitter is my new interest. And I've been making it is at the moment one tool to make speaking with your friends a little easier on Twitter, but I'm going to soon expand that out into a couple of more tools. So,
well, you know, I don't even know how I came across it. I came across it on Twitter, I think, from your tweets. And it's called Do You Even List? Is that right? Do You Even List.co? And it's a really useful tool for Twitter. I like it. I went in and I checked it out. I signed up to see what it does. And what it does is it shows me who've been the top 10 interactors or more. I can put more on the list, but it shows me who are the top people that are interacting the most, who are the people that are favoriting my tweets the most, that are retweeting, that are conversing with me the most. And that's really helpful because if you're using these social tools and you're using Twitter, one of the things that you want to do is you want to reciprocate and you want to be involved in return in the conversations with those people who are conversing with you. So I find it very useful, and then you can go there and you can, there's a thing you can do where you can tweet out a picture of here's my top 10 users. And that was kind of fun. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I ended up tweeting that out. And it was cool, though, because then I got a bunch of, oh, thanks, that was cool, responses to my tweet from the people who were in it. So it helps build those relationships, and that's what social media is really all about, is building relationships so that you can do business with people if you're on there for business instead of just fun. Brian, are you there yet? Nope. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carl. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, you have hit the nail on the head, really. Like, I wanted for me to see who has been tweeting me, you know, over the course of the last few weeks, because I wanted to then go back and engage with these people, you know, and just build that relationship up. And through the last few months since I've been doing it, I've made some really, really good friends on Twitter through my own tool. And those were the guys that actually ended up, you know, getting the first users for the tool. So it's been really great.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to interviewing you more about that on a future date on TGIF here. So yay. That's going to be on October 2nd. Mark your calendars. We'll be talking about Twitter and tools to make using Twitter more productive, more effective, easier, more fun. Okay. Let's go back to our guests. I think, also, this is a good time if anybody out there in the audience has any questions, please do post them to the event page. And even if you're not watching live and you end up watching this as a recording later, still post your questions to the event page because we do watch for them. We do come back and answer them later on. And there is a link in the comments there if anybody wants to join in and ask your questions yourself or get practice doing your 30-second commercial. This is a networking mixer, and we're newbie friendly. I want you to come in and practice being on camera, practice giving that great introduction for yourself. That's what it's all about. Okay, back to, let's see, we were talking about groups. I'm going to go back to Inger here for this because we spoke to Sherry a little bit about it with the Lost Unicorn, and it's a labor of love. But Inger, with ankle biters, you're selling stuff and people are paying for it. The stuff that you create. And the currency in there is called lindens because it's game currency. And the creators of the game are named Linden, so they're called lindens. But the lindens can be transferred into real world currency, correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. So when you sell stuff for lindens and people pay you in lindens, you can then take those lindens and turn them into whatever it is you use over there in where are you? You're in Holland, right?
I turn them into euros.
Euros.
We have euros.
So your business actually, you make a little bit of profit. Is that correct?
A little bit, yes.
So most of it will go to, like, you probably don't turn all of it into euros because you have to pay rent for your space too, right?
Yes.
and whatever else your expenses are. And Goddess knows we all like to shop in Second Life, buying new stuff for our avvies.
Very true.
But you probably don't do as much shopping because you're creating it yourself. So that's kind of handy. So you do make a little profit. Now, is it enough? Do you think that someone could quit their real life job and say, you know what, I just want to run a business in this virtual world and be able to do that?
If they are really, really good and very commercial, and they can. I really believe that. I have a friend living in Portugal, and she quit her job, and she's living purely of the income of Second Life. But
wow,
she is very good and very commercial, and I only like to create. So I'm not very commercial, and that I I lack a bit of my commercial qualities, because the only thing I find interesting is creating, and the rest I like. It's nice to sell because people like your stuff, but for me the pure joy is creating. And
well, you know, I find this quite a lot with creative types. They love to create, they love to take photographs, but you know, doing the marketing,
I totally suck at marketing, and commercial skills are really terrible.
May I ask, what does your friend from Portugal do in Second Life that she's making? What's her business?
She has a big business. She makes skirt generators, sculpties, templates, and she sells them full perm. And she does it really, really well. And it's a very nice lady. She lived in my country for a long time, but moved over to Portugal. And she said the great thing is, if you can make a living out of SL, you can live anywhere in the world where you want, because it doesn't matter where you live. You can take your work with you and do all stuff on the computer. So that's so great.
So for me, I'm going to translate for the viewing audience, and what she said about making sculpties and full perm skirts. The person makes things for builders. So she'll make so she'll make the skirt shape out of, it's some kind of mesh 3D building thing that I can't explain that, but she'll make the shapes for the clothing pieces, and she'll be the supplier of those pieces to the other designers and creators who will take the different pieces, put them together, put pretty textures on them, edit them, change the shapes, do whatever they want. They're full perm. That means they have full permissions to copy them, to modify them, to edit them, to transfer them, so that they can have something to start with, but then put their designer touch on it, make it into a finished product, and then sell it because it's transferable. So that's me, translator. Carl, are you raising your hand? You want to say something? Or?
No, I'm just scratching my head with them.
Okay. All right. So Inger, do you buy some of her stuff, and that helps you to create your designs that you then sell in your ankle biter store? Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes I use them.
Okay.
Saves a lot of time.
And you think that if you were more marketing-minded and more business-minded, you would be able to take your passion and turn it into a business. But do you think it would then no longer be as much fun?
Exactly. I think for me the fun is the most important, because if you take the fun out and it will become work, I think you lose your inspiration, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has to be fun, and you have to do what you love, and as long as it's not work, because work means income, means yeah, that will make it very difficult.
And I think that's key, and that's one of the keys to making money in Second Life, because there are so many people that feel that way. in Second Life, people want lindens because lindens is the currency that they use to go buy stuff. And everybody wants to make their avvie look really cool, and everybody wants the coolest outfits and the coolest clothes and the coolest furniture for the house and the prettiest trees for their yard. And so they want to spend lindens. And some accounts, if you pay a certain amount of money a month to Linden Labs, the creators of Second Life, you get an allowance of lindens. But a lot of the accounts are free accounts. There's no allowance. So you either have to put your own money in, you can go in and purchase lindens, it's an exchange system, or there are jobs that you can take in Second Life that where you will earn lindens, people will pay you in lindens. And I think most players in there, myself included, were at one point in time or another, oh, I want to earn some lindens. I don't want to pay money. I want to earn them. So, you know, we go out and we get jobs. You're a host at a dance club or something like that because the host helps, you know, advertise the dance events and talk to the people when they come in and make sure they're having a good time. But, you know, then it turns into work and you're no longer just at a dance event having a good time. And so after a while we decide I don't want to work anymore. I would rather just pay my money and get some lindens and have fun. And there is a very vibrant economy, like millions of dollars are exchanged every month in Second Life from people buying and selling goods. And so if you're a creator who has a good business sense and go in and create things that people want, then you can go out and you can actually make some money. There is a thriving Second Life blogger community, and I think these bloggers are crazy personally because they all do it for free. There are certain designers, a lot of clothing designers in Second Life that are very popular, and people that go into Second Life want these clothes, and so they like to blog. Blogging is a creative outlet for them, and photography, the Second Life photography. So the clothing designers will send them a box of swag every month, and by that I mean, you know, free clothing, free furniture, whatever it is the creators create. They'll send the freebie advanced sneak peek to their bloggers, and then their bloggers will wear everything, put an outfit together, go out and take a picture somewhere pretty, and then post it to their blog, post it to Flickr, and then have links to what all the items are that they're wearing in the store where they can go buy it. And they send a lot of traffic over to these designers. And I think it's kind of crazy because some of them are like, you have to blog twice a week and you have to put on the outfit as soon as it's sold and it has to be there before it's available to the public, and they have like all these rules that they have to live, and it's work. And you know, here in the real life, that is something that people do for a living as a job. They get paid for it. And but there is a thriving community of Second Life bloggers that are willing to put themselves through that and do it for free and really help generate business for the creators and designers. So there's a thriving economy in these virtual worlds. Sherry, I'm going to come back to you, and then we're going to start doing our wrap-ups.
Okay.
And it's 10 till, so Sherry and Inger, when I come back to you, we're going to kind of do our any last things. So are there any last kind of tips that you want to give us for what you do? Because your gallery is more like a non-profit than a for-profit.
Right.
You're more like a museum, like an org, than a com.
Exactly.
So you have a group as well, and your group is for telling people about new art events and showings and things like that?
Right. And just, I know I do get donations. I mean, we have the opportunity for people that visit can give donations for the maintenance of the gallery and the forest and all that. And we do get quite a few donations, which all that helps, you know. But yeah, the group again is mainly just for letting people know about the events that we have, like I said, once a month, and then just displaying the work. I have it on a rotation, so since I can only show about 23 artists at one time based on space, so I rotate it every 2 months. So like I might have this group, this 2 months, and then the next group the next 2 months, and then the front rooms of the gallery showcase 2 artists. Or like right now, for example, we're just showcasing Little Mermaid pictures. So every now and then we do something different. You know, we may not always showcase an artist. Now we're just doing the mermaid pictures to go with the enchantment theme. You know, so.
And another thing that you do is you created your sim to be a beautiful place to attract photographers to take pictures.
Right.
And
yeah.
So that's another way that you attract people to come in and take pictures and show their work and show you what they can do. And the donations, do your donations mostly come from regulars who visit, or do you get a lot of like just traffic that kind of comes through that doesn't necessarily come through every month, and they're generous as well? Do you do anything to kind of encourage donations, or is it just you just put a thing out, donation kiosk, and people donate because they're just nice that way?
And most of them are that visit, and it comes from it comes from a little bit of everything. So people that are first-time visitors. We also have like a guest book people can sign, and we have a lot of great comments. I of course have a blog, a website, Facebook, a Twitter, all those kind of things to kind of let people know about the gallery and what's going on there. So I try to keep it active, you know, and something going on most of the time so that people will come back. How
do you know how many visitors you get?
I have a I can't remember what it's called, but I think like when people land at the gallery, it counts my visitors and tells me who visited and all that. So
okay.
So I can it comes to my email and it tells me who all visited and how many that day. So it's kind of like a daily.
How many do you average in a month? Do you know offhand?
I would say in a day, it depends. On the weekends, I could have up to, I don't know, I kind of know day by day, but on the weekends, I could have up to 30 or 40 in one day. On the weekdays, maybe it could be anywhere from 5 to 10, 20 people. Okay. So, yeah.
And is it a lot of repeat visitors or a lot of kind of fresh, new?
We have a lot of new ones. And then we do have a lot of repeat, like you, like you're a good regular, and yeah, we have a lot of people that come regularly too. So
awesome,
it's nice.
And thank you so much for joining me. I'm like really stoked that you came on. I love the Lost Unicorn Gallery. I'm a big fan of it, and the sim. And I was just really stoked when you agreed to come on, especially after you told me how nervous you would be and stuff. So thank you so much.
I am too.
You're brave. Thank you. And
thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Inger, how about you? Do you have a little counter thing also that tells you how many people come through your store?
No. I haven't.
Do you know how many people come through your store?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Oh,
but,
interesting.
I can see I get in my mail the little selling mails, and I regularly sell outfits.
So you're going more by like sales and purchases than visits.
Yeah.
And how many sales do you get usually?
It depends. Sometimes it depends on the end of the month.
When people get their allowances, that's why they're
sales go down. But when they have salary, my sales go up. It's very funny.
Well, and I think that's the people who get Linden allowances too. That's when they get them in the beginning of the month, I think. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Yeah. That's the same way with me too, because I set myself an allowance. This is how much money I'm allowed to spend on Second Life stuff, and I'll put that in the beginning and try and make it last all month, but it never lasts all month. So that actually makes sense. That's awesome. Is there any last thing you want to tell us about? Any tips for promoting stuff or other Second Life potential business owners or visitors or anything at all? Last thoughts.
Aye. Just come to Second Life. We need fresh people, fresh blood. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, that's for sure.
It's a magical world. It's very enchanting, and it's a complete fairy tale. Also with dark sides, but never go to the dark sides. Even if they have cookies, don't go.
Right. Right. This is true. There is definitely a dark side there and a light side, just like anything else. And just when you join, go to the visitor areas first.
Yeah, and go to
for
the dark
the
side.
newbies. Yeah. And if you're thinking about joining Second Life, there's actually also people in business there who will help you create your avvie, make it look fabulous, so that you don't have as much of a learning curve and take as much time to do that. Feel free to contact me. I'll be one of those people to help you do that.
I volunteer too.
Right, that's a business. And of course, Inger, because she, especially if you're going to be a petite, and Natalie, you know, join her Lost Unicorn Gallery group, because that's where you find out about some of the beautiful artistic things that are going on and the shopping events. So, Carl, thank you for joining us. Do you have any last questions for our guests? Anything coming up that you want to promote for your own business? Anything you want to tell us about?
Not really, to be honest. I actually was running a bit late, so I got on late. I'm packing my bag to go to England. So, you know, when I remembered, I just jumped on quickly and thought I'd listen.
Well, thanks for coming in. I'm really glad you joined us. Everybody, stay tuned for the October 2nd TGIF Business Networking Hangout. Carl's going to be my featured guest, and we're going, again, to talk about the Do You Even List utility that he created for Twitter that helps us find our top connections on Twitter and the people who are retweeting us and conversing with us, so that we can always make sure that we're paying special attention to them as well. And Brian finally decided to join us. Unmute yourself, Brian, before we go to you.
Okay.
Any last thoughts, any last questions for our friends who joined us today?
Unfortunately, I have 2 minutes to get answers, so I have probably a long list of questions that I'd like to have answered, but for now,
pick one.
I'll just say I'm signing off, because I have my next client coming in at 10 o'clock already. So anyway, I'll introduce myself. I'm Brian Rowley, mousehelp@roselle.com, and I help people with all kinds of website stuff, social media, promoting their books, like my author friend here, and also I do, did I say websites already? And
yes.
Technical support. And I was right in the middle of a remote access tech support call when you saw me the first time, which is why I was muted for so long. So thanks for having me, and maybe I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, Brian. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Well, everybody out there who joined us today, thank you for joining us. My name is Melanie MacDonald. I'm the host of the TGIF Business Networking Hangout. Whether you join us live or you watch the replay, thank you for coming. Come back on October 2nd. We're going to have Carl Hamlet as the guest, and we're going to be talking all things Twitter. Have a great day and a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.